Genpei War, named for the two imperial court factions who formed the primary belligerents. The Minamoto samurai clan emerged victorious and managed to turn their victory into a total usurpation of national power. The imperial family became rulers in name only and entrusted governance to a shogun, a samurai military ruler. The samurai were now on top. From 1185, the samurai formed the elite in society, but the word itself means to serve, and so the samurai warrior was taught from birth to, above all else, serve his master, also a samurai, though of higher rank. The relationship between samurai, great and small, was characterized by rigid codes of honor and obligations from both sides in a codified system known as bushido, the way of warriors. The samurai expected himself, his family, and his own retainers and household to be provided for by their lord through income from fiefs worked by farmers, as well as other income sources such as trade, mining, and toll collection. In return, the samurai would obey their lord's summons to arms, and the higher the samurai's income, the more men they were expected to bring along with them when their lord's call for warriors went out. They also served as their lord's civil servants, overseers, and governance advisors. During the 15th century and the age of the country at war, the endless battles took their toll on the limited ranks of the traditional samurai families, and many daimyo lords decided they needed to expand their armies. Gone were the days when a few hundred highly trained, magnificently attired samurai squared off against each other with swords in battle. By Yasuke's era, the armies were tens of thousands strong, and the need for cheap soldiers had provisionally overridden the need to keep peasants exclusively growing rice. Many men now regularly dropped their tools and lofted spears when they were called upon, leaving the women, elderly, and children to work the fields until they returned, if they ever did. Eventually, as the wars expanded in scope, the distances covered made returning home regularly an impossibility. Many of the peasants now found themselves receiving regular wages and better arms from their lords, and they held an ambiguous dual status as farmers and lower-ranking samurai, known as ashigaru. The key difference from traditional samurai being that ashigaru were not normally permanently retained, nor did they hold fiefs. This development led in many ways to a more assertive lower class with a sense of their own power and military utility. These farmers had now also been to war and held a spear or fired a gun. No longer would they be so easily bullied around by the samurai. They wanted a bigger portion of the proverbial rice bowl, perhaps even with some real rice in it. Thus, following the age of the country at war, there was no shortage of samurai in Japan. Hundreds of thousands, perhaps up to 500,000, could have claimed the epithet, though few would have any real family pedigree beyond the last couple of generations in the elite warrior world. A daimyo could call upon both direct personal retainers, such as Yasuke, and part-time ashigaru warriors to swell his ranks. The direct personal retainers could be classified into 4 groups: family members, hereditary vassals, officers of the levies, and hatamoto, who were the lord's personal attendants. Family members and vassals who held their own fiefs were expected to bring their own samurai and ashigaru with them when called upon to fight. It is not known exactly which rank Yasuke held, but it would probably have been equivalent to hatamoto. The hatamoto saw to the lord's needs, handling everything from finance to transport, communications to trade. They were also the bodyguards and pages to the warlord, traveling with him and spending their days in his company. As the realm became more and more divided during the great age of turmoil and the collapse of centralized power in Kyoto, other players saw an opportunity to enter the world of politics and war the samurai had dominated for hundreds of years. During the first half of the age of the country at war, these interlopers included monks from militant temples, self-governing peasant warriors such as ninja, pirate sea lords, and even merchant guilds and oligarchies in cities like Sakai. Sometimes these regional powers controlled whole provinces and seas, vast areas ruled not from Kyoto or from a samurai daimyo's castle, but from an island fortress, a temple complex, or a mountain village. By Yasuke's era, these competing players included the Jesuits, carving out their own domain in Nagasaki. Accordingly, when men like Nobunaga had amassed great power, one of the samurai's primary responsibilities became not only to fight each other, but to reassert their authority upon these upstart lower-class and religious entities. Prime among these threats to their power were the warrior monks and their followers. Temples had always been powerful, controlling vast estates of tax-exempt land donated by long-dead nobles or samurai wishing to buy a better deal in the afterlife. Similar to the Catholic Church in Europe, temples engaged in politics and intrigue, and eventually became embroiled in wars. These warrior monks, Sohei, might be compared to religious orders like the Knights Templar or Teutonic Knights in Europe, strong warriors who believed they were fighting for their